This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. Welcome. At 5 p.m. we will have a team here from the Central Bank of Liberia. A big program is coming up, the significance of it and all that. The team will be here. We'll have that conversation at 4 p.m. is for a hour. Before that, we will talk the things that matter. It was quite a night in the Champions League, especially in Portugal, when the special one, Jose Mourinho's Benfica, triumphed over Real Madrid to make it through to the next qualifying round of the Champions League. I was so happy for him. I always want Mourinho to succeed wherever he is. Yeah.
You build your world on lies and illusion, but you never know that this is the
So what's the talking town now? Brian Butter?
no chance, no hope.
What, Ministry of Brian Butter? The final.
Cause you never know.
What? The whole essence of life is Brian Butter, people. Yeah? You know? That's the essence of life. Bread and butter. Anyways, I will tell you later.
And if you can't take those, brother, don't throw no.
When you hear the American Constitution, when you hear Martin Luther King Jr., and others say we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men, all human beings are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Right? When your right is unalienable, it means it can't be taken away from you. And among these are what? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's bread and butter.
Come to do the things that
Anyways.
right. And if you don't like them, I'll do it.
So come to it. You're in safe hands. We'll go through the CDC's response. Yesterday we did the ANC's. We'll do the CDC's response on today and see what's there, what's in to the president's annual message. So this is where we go next. Nowhere else but here. Sustained heavy gunfire and loud explosions have been heard in Niger near the international airport outside the capital, Niamey. Multiple eyewitness accounts and videos showed air defense systems apparently engaging unidentified projectiles in the early hours of Thursday. Oh wow, they get air defense system in Niger? Oh. That's it. The situation later calmed down, reports say, with an official reportedly saying the situation was now under control without elaborating. Mali has tightened control over the production of civil-use explosives in the country. The junta announced it is taking a 51% ownership stake in a new explosives company with Chinese partners. The Société Industrielle du Centre du Mali, that's Farachi Kosa, that's the acronym. So in French it's what? Société Industrielle du Centre du Mali. That is society, that's the industrial society of the center of Mali. It was created to reduce Mali's dependence on imports and secure supplies for the mining sector, quarries, and major civil engineering works, while tightening oversight of these sensitive products. Since 2022, Bamako has toughened regulations on explosives amid the fight against terrorism and the spread of improvised explosive devices. And Nigeria has signed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, that's CEPA, with the United Arab Emirates to eliminate tariffs on 7,350 Nigerian products. Tires and machinery, vehicles, electrical equipment, apparel, and furniture going from Nigeria to UAE will be phased out over the next 3 to 5 years. The CEPA includes immediate duty-free access for 2,805 products like cotton, fish, cereals, fruits, and leather. Under the agreement, Nigeria has also eliminated tariffs on 6,243 products imported from UAE, such as capital goods and machinery. That could drive down prices. Indeed, share the video, invite others to join in the OK conversation on OKFM is right here. Let's take a few of our promos here, those who are working with us, helping to ensure that we can be on air, people who are doing business with us. So let's go, this break.
We are brave. We are passionate.
Hey, Tanu, I need cash and there is no ATM around here.
Really? Did you try the EcoBank POS?
POS? I said I need cash. What is it about POS?
Judy, you can get your cash through the POS. All you need to do is to visit any EcoBank Express point or petrol trade gas station and request to use the POS. Guess what? It can also take other bank cards.
Oh, widow. You mean cards from banks overseas too?
Yes, it should just be your Visa card.
Wow, great. So when there is no ATM around me, I'll just use the POS to get my money fast. EcoBank has made it too easy, man. EcoBank and innovation that real 5 and 6 so.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Mama, who takes care of development in our country?
We all do, my baby. You see, every time we pay our taxes, we are taking care of our country, Mama Liberia. Taxes help provide clean water, safe communities, and jobs for our people. When you pay your tax, Liberia grows.
Be proud, be responsible. Pay your taxes for a better Liberia. Pay tax, we all enjoy.
Mama?
Indeed. Welcome back. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. My name is Julius J. So, we know that the first round of the Champions League, UEFA Champions League, came to an end last night. So, in this new format, the top 8 teams go straight to it in the quarterfinals. So those first 8 teams are Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting CP, and Manchester City. For them, they are resting. They go straight into the quarterfinals. Arsenal top the entire group of the Champions League with 24 points. They play 8 games, won all 8 against some tough opponents as well, including Bayern Munich. They won. So these top 8 teams go there. The next, are they 16 or 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they are 16. The next 16 teams go to the playoff round. And that's where the game between Real Madrid needed to win to qualify straight to the quarterfinals. But they couldn't. So, Benfica needed to win, but win by a certain goal margin because at the time the game was ending, Marseille were qualifying until the last touch of the game when the goalkeeper headed in to give Jose Mourinho's side the victory. So that's why it is. So the next 16 teams now that will go to the playoff are Real Madrid, Inter, Paris Saint-Germain, that's PSG, Newcastle United, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund, Olympiacos, Club Brugge, Galatasaray, AS Monaco, Karabakh FK, Bodo Glimt, and Benfica. The rest of them completely out of this whole thing. So, yeah, that's why it is. Yeah, that's why it is. So. No, is it qualify? No, round of 16. Yeah, so yeah, it's a round of 16. Yeah, that's how they call it. So as a round of 16, those 8 teams have qualified too. Yeah, that's a round of 16, which those other people will be qualifying to as well. Now, yeah, we just need to bring that bit and piece in. So we also know today that the government, today's the birthday of Representative Ta Wongbe. Yeah, happy birthday to you, sir. All of God's choicest blessings. So we know today that the President of the Republic of Liberia, Joseph Newman Boakye, broke grounds for the construction of a permanent justice complex up Capitol Hill, aimed at saving the Liberian government millions of dollars spent annually on rental payments. The proposed complex will house the Ministry of Justice and its auxiliary institutions, including the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the Liberia Immigration Service, and the Liberia National Fire Service. All of these entities will be in the same vicinity. So it's a complex. They're building a justice complex. That's a good thing, to have government buildings all over the place. Very impressive. That's a very good thing to do. More and more developments taking place. Okay. Let's bring you a little more details. So also know that the Foreign Minister, Sarah Beslow Nyanti, has reaffirmed Liberia's commitment to working with members of the United Nations Security Council to promote peace in the Middle East. She's there in the U.S. She even met with American officials. Yep. So let me see. I know I saw that. She met with some American officials and something was shared by the State Department. So let's see what is there, which was also shared by the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia here. It's a senior bureau official checker had the pleasure of meeting with Liberian Foreign Minister Sarah Beslow Nyanti to discuss cooperation at the United Nations Security Council, enhancing regional infrastructure development and joint efforts to combat illegal immigration. And this was posted by U.S. Department of State Bureau of African Affairs. And the two officials are just right there. So that happened, yes, on yesterday. Okay. The Liberia Airport Authority has announced the approval of a major European Union funded support package valued at more than $8 million United States dollars, aimed at strengthening aviation safety, security, and infrastructure across Liberia's aerodromes, with primary focus on Rabas International Airport. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has called on the government to urgently establish a specialized anti-corruption court to effectively handle corruption-related cases. So those are the bits and pieces of news we needed to bring you there. At this point now, let us. So we have the State of the Nation response from the Congress for Democratic Change. They call it a rebuttal. It's long. Let me try. Fellow Liberians, the Coalition for Democratic Change speaks today out of duty the country, not convenience of politics. So they say they're speaking up because of politics, or because they have a duty to the country, not everyday politics. That's why they say, but let's see what's there. President Joseph Juma Boakai titled his State of the Nation address From Resolve to Results, Building on Progress and Delivering for the Liberian people. Yet, the most important question remains unanswered. Whose progress is President Joseph Juma Boakai building upon? The irresistible answer is the CDC Foundation since 2023. President Joseph Juma Boakai himself admits the approach. We have deliberately built on the progress already made. That progress did not emerge from a vacuum. It was built under the CDC and under President George Manenwea through infrastructure corridors, electricity expansion, education access, health system upgrades, regional partnerships, and macroeconomic stabilization achieved under difficult global conditions. Liberia must build on progress. What we reject is the political deception of pretending that the foundation was not built by the CDC, while at the time repackaging inherited work as rescue achievements and sold to a struggling population as something new under the so-called arrest agenda. Even more troubling, President Joseph Newman Boakai increasingly contradicts himself in the public. Recently on ERBC radio, President Joseph Newman Boakai stated that the Mano River Union was paying for the US $10 million villa in Foya. Today, President Joseph Newman Boakai says the government of Liberia is paying. These statements cannot both be true. Which one should Liberians believe? Why does President Boakai, Joseph Newman Boakai, keep giving conflicting explanations on the matter involving millions of dollars in public trust? Leadership requires clarity, consistency, and honesty, not confusion and inconsistency as with the FOIA projects and many policies of the Boakai regime. The CDC rebuttal to this 2026 SONA shifts away from the rescue slogans and examines actual outcomes that affect the bread and butter issues of the Liberian people. We measure governance by the condition of households, the security of institutions, and the durability of services. On those measures, the rescue mission has fallen short and has become an excuse mission. The economy, statistics with our livelihoods. President Joseph Newman Boakai boasts of growth figures, reserves, and record domestic revenue, but the CDC reminds Liberians of an important truth. Every government since the return to democratic rule has expanded the revenue envelope through consumption, taxation policies reforms, and improved collection systems. Hence, rising revenue alone is no evidence of exceptional governance, especially through higher taxation, but how such revenue is utilized to improve the livelihood of the ordinary people. The real test is whether revenue translates into relief. Today, behind every statistic is a struggling household. Civil servants, market women, students, motorcyclists, and graduates live under constant economic anxiety. Prices remain high, jobs scarce, and purchasing power weak. If the economy were truly improving in people's lives, Liberians would not be debating survival every single day. President Joseph Newman Boakai also claims 70,000 youth have been employed. We ask plainly, in which counties are these jobs? Where are the employment centers? Where are the payrolls? Where are the beneficiaries? Because across Liberia, graduates roam the streets for years without work. Families support educated children with no income. And young people are forced into informal survival instead of dignified employment. Last year, President Joseph Newman Boakai promised 10,000 youth will be trained in ICT. This year, by his own admission, only about 1,000 have been trained. That is a 90% failure rate against his own promise. This is not opposition rhetoric. This is arithmetic. Is President Joseph Newman Boakai still campaigning in his SONA, renewing promises instead of reporting deliverables? Even more contradictory on the president's claims of job creation was the flagrant interference with the ECOWAS appointment of Liberia's former Foreign Minister Ambassador Dimas Sakimaya Sr. as ECOWAS ambassador to Sierra Leone. He was resisted as a persecution of perceived political opponents. This job eventually landed in the hands of a Ghanaian national. What a betrayal of a Liberian citizen and the Constitution. Roads, rhetoric, rebranding, and broken campaign promises. President Joseph Juma Boakai repeats that roads are a priority, saying they are not a slogan but a commitment. Yet, Liberians remember a much louder pledge from President Joseph Juma Boakai during the campaign. No cow will get stuck in the mud after 100 days. Was that promise deliberate deception, or is the rescue government simply unable to execute basic road maintenance even with the availability of $22 million in the first 6 months of the Boakai administration? Because rural Liberia still experiences impassable roads during the rainy season, isolation during emergencies, and transport costs that punish farmers and traders. Many of the roadworks now being politically advertised were already contracted, financed, designed, or initiated under the CDC. Rebranding inherited projects does not change the lived reality of communities still cut off from opportunities. Even more deceitful, beyond rebranding inherited road projects is grossly overstating completed paved roads by additional 10.2% or 1,325 kilometers with just within 2 years, from about 1,275 kilometers, about 9.8% within 18 years, according to the AARD just recorded political achievement. If President Boakai paved this amount of roads within 2 years, if this is truthful, then the RIA road expansion corridor will have been completed within 6 months of Boakai's first year, since that corridor is less than 100 kilometers. No strategy for jobs, no urgency for agriculture. Nearly 3 years in the power under President Joseph Juma Boakai, Liberia should not still be waiting for a clear job creation engine. Temporary projects are not employment strategy. Promises of future jobs do not feed families today. Agriculture, on which more than 60% of Liberians depend, remains neglected in real terms. Farmers still lack imports, storage, irrigation, extension services, and reliable farm-to-market roads. The much publicized 285 yellow machines promised to improve rural roads have not been delivered in real operational form. Yet, the fiscal year 2026 budget shows no serious allocation to fulfill that pledge. Liberians are tired of paper machines and recycled announcements. Even the opportunity to directly increase government investment in agriculture, given the $1.2 billion budget, the government has sadly resulted into allocating the incremental surplus projects and programs that have lesser economic returns, however, promote enrichment of officials of the regime. Education, rhetoric versus reality. Education is both a social right and an economic investment. The CDC delivered measurable gains. 48 new elementary and secondary schools, 25 high schools in previously underserved districts, payment of vast fees, regularization of more than 3,600 supplementary teachers, free tuition for public universities, benefiting over 30,000 students annually, faculty salary upgrades, facility renovations, and digitized registration. Currently, under the rescue government, there is persistent decline. The government has allowed momentum to stall. Classrooms lack trained and motivated teachers. Learning materials are scarce. Volunteer teacher schemes are not matched with sustainable pay, and higher education shows signs of administrative neglect. These signs are evident on the campuses of the University of Liberia, Topman University, and most community colleges in rural Liberia. The CDC encourages the regime to rise above current low quality in the educational system, because them neglecting education today is practically equivalent to condemning tomorrow's future leaders of our country, something the CDC strongly rejects. Health from investment to decay. Under the CDC, the health sector saw 2 major investments in hospitals, equipment, and workforce organization. Today, many facilities show signs of neglect. Health budgets have stagnated while security allocations have risen, especially in the case of the NSA and LMP in the fiscal year 2026 budget. Some health sector funds have been withheld or reallocated, depriving hospitals of needed supplies and operational support. While the president is boasting of vaccination and immunization performance, a traditionally routine task fully supported by our international partners, there was no show of major government achievement for 2025. Even the 2026 legislative agenda for the sector remains unclear. The CDC wants to remind President Boakai and his government that The main problem in the health sector is not only vaccination, immunization, but a problem that surrounds health sector infrastructure, logistics, and workforce empowerment, especially for the lower class of workers, including nurses, midwives, and others. To resolve problems of workforce empowerment, the CDC in 2023 negotiated and signed salary adjustment agreement through a comprehensive pay grade for the sector and initiated implementation through the fiscal year 2024 budget of an initial $5 million. The intent was to significantly step up the salary of lower class of health workers. The rescue upon inauguration recalled and after recast removed the $5 million. The resulting impact today is nurses, midwives, and other cards remain underpaid and demoralized and continuously staging protests and go-slow actions, resulting into reduced service availability and quality. In the interest of the health workers, the CDC called on the rescue government to restore and implement the health pay grade MOU, protect health allocations, prioritize maintenance and equipping of hospitals, and strengthen community health systems. Police brutality and insecurity, stability in wars, fear in practice. President Joseph Boakai speaks of peace and stability, but peace enforced through intimidation is not democracy. Under this administration, armed police demolished the CDC national headquarters while the matter was still before the court. That act was not neutral law enforcement. It was a politically charged assault on the main opposition party. The pattern continues with the suppression of dissent. After the December 17 peaceful protests, the government arrested and charged Chairman Mobake Molu and others. These actions reinforce public perception that security agencies under President Joseph Boakai operate with partisan bias, targeting critics while shielding allies. The judiciary independence or a tool against political opponents. President Joseph Boakai praises the rule of law, yet his administration has presided over grave constitutional controversies, including the forceful removal of Speaker J. Fodanti Kofa and repeated executive disregard for Supreme Court authority when rulings conflicted with regime interests. A judiciary that is celebrated in speeches but undermined in practice cannot stabilize Liberia. Selective enforcement of justice erodes confidence, fuels instability, and discourages investment. A new national emergency, illicit drugs and social decay. Liberia today faces a deepening crisis of illicit drugs, especially among young people. Communities are overwhelmed by drug abuse, addiction, and the violence and social breakdown that follow. Yet, beyond announcement, President Joseph Boakai's government has not delivered a comprehensive, funded, nationwide anti-drug response that combines enforcement, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. A nation battling gang rape, sodomy, police brutality, economic hardship, looting, abuse of market women, visa cancellations, fake yellow machines, and mass corruption cannot afford half measures on drugs. The failure to confront this crisis decisively is another broken promise of the rescue government. Zero intent for reconciliation in support of toxic and divisive tendencies. After a heavily contested elections in 2023 in which the Unity Party narrowly emerged victorious with less than 20,000 votes, any reasonable person will easily think that national reconciliation and unification will have been the pursuit of the Boakai's government. This looks easily more revealing given the age of the president as one of the oldest elected presidents of Liberia, and this is so pronounced his so pronounced 40 years of government experience. But regrettably, the rescue government chose the opposite path and are relentlessly executing anti-reconciliation and divisive governance style with President Boakai personally leading the charge. In President Boakai's sonnet, he elaborated his most successful reconciliation achievement as the official reburial of two of Liberia's slain presidents, Samuel Doe and William R. Tobot. While reconciling with the dead is good, but pursuing more divisive tendencies with the living is counterproductive to national growth and stability. Besides these official reburials, and since 2 years, more than 2 national unification days have passed and not a single national reconciliation or unification event has been held, inviting the immediate former president, Weah, and other critical opposition leaders to discuss the path of reconciliation and national healing after a heavily contested and divided election. Instead, over the past 2 years, President Boakai has prioritized denying the former president executive privileges, pursuing and demolishing the former headquarters of the CDC under the disguise of court enforcement, selectively and politically prosecuting former officials of the Weah government under the disguise of fighting corruption, and illegally dismissing more than 2,000 civil servants and several tenured officials of the WIA administration under the disguise of payroll cleanup and enforcement of code of conduct. Contrary to Bwaga's anti-reconciliatory and division style of leadership, which are celebrated and perpetuated by his rescue officials and supporters, former President Weah sought and implemented reconciliatory governance. Governance measure that included regular visitation and support to President Bwaga when he was former VP and political leader of the Opposition Unity Party, organization of Reconciliation Summit, and dialogue with opposition community within just 1 year of his leadership, which was held at the Bella Casa Hotel, a hotel owned by the then chairman of the Opposition Unity Party. A strong statement of former President Weah's reconciliatory style of government also, and very importantly, that's included maintaining all UP officials who held tenure positions without illegal and discriminatorily dismissing them. In the name of genuine reconciliation, the CDC challenges President Bwaga to take concrete actions in promotion of national unity and peaceful coexistence. This challenge includes President Bwaga himself taking steps which eventually will be followed by his officials and supporters as a very important precondition to sustainable political stability and economic growth. Conclusion. What happened to the promises? Fellow Liberians, what happened to the promises made by President Joseph Numa Boakai and the rescue government? What happened to the urgency? What happened to delivery? Liberia does not need more campaigns disguised as solemn speeches. Liberia needs honesty, competence, reconciliation, jobs, justice, leadership that speaks clearly and acts consistently. Until President Joseph Numa Boakai moves from recycled promises to measurable results that ordinary people can feel, the CDC will continue to speak, to question, and to stand with the Liberian people in defense of true democracy and national dignity. May God preserve our democracy and save Liberia and Liberians from the wanton abuses. Okay, so this is it. This one of the key things it has is it has some recommendations there. Okay, that's a good thing. So the politics is not just about critiquing, but there are recommendations in different things that I think the government should prioritize, the government should do. It is a good thing. We are all Liberians, whether you're in opposition, you're in government, you should be able to say it how you see it in terms of what you want the government to do from your perspective that you think will help the country move forward. It contains some key details. It talks about what they did in terms of targeting the figures as stated by the president. It questions, but it doesn't really go to counter. You know, there are some key areas that you would think, given that they are a former governing party, a former ruling party, they will have been able to counter. But they really didn't. The 70,000 jobs thing. The president's speech did not say they were jobs that are still there. Because when they say short term to long term, short term to medium term, then they are not jobs, some of whom that will still be there today. So short-term jobs could be a week to 3 months. Medium-term could be less than a year or so. So on that point, the reaction there doesn't really look strong. And an opposition party that was just in power should be able to really, really hammer through on that. Especially so, since some of the stalwarts are writing a whole lot about these things, I would think that those kinds of views would have been incorporated. I don't see them tackling the issues of the economy. I've seen the former finance minister and others writing about issues of the economy. They do not really make their way in this speech. They should have been there. Because you see, the annual address looks at all of these key details. So those are things that you should be able to tackle. If you think there are issues there, they should be clearly outlined. Now, I am judging them. I'm analyzing them based on the fact that they were just in power. You know, it's a former governing party, so there's a whole lot that they could have known. talking about roads, they don't seem to be very strong on what they're saying in this paragraph. Even more deceitful beyond rebranding inherited road projects is grossly overstating completed paved roads by additional 10.2% or 1,325 kilometers just within 2 years from about. I don't know what this paragraph is saying, but it is not saying what it wants to say. Yeah, and it is a very part that the government admitted there are issues, but even this reaction to it doesn't come out, very strongly to. I don't get what they're trying to say, But it should be simple. It should be clear. Okay, the current paved roads in the country is this. You didn't pave this amount of road that you say you pave. Be very clear, we have this, that. We pave this. Your first 2 terms, you pave this. We pave this. And when you came to power, you just pave 100 and something plus kilometers. So the total is this. Do not be deceitful. You be clear on those kinds of things. Because you have over a day or so to deliver this. Yeah, the issue of education, that one was strong. The details are there. They're very clear, Yeah. And you also have a recommendation there in terms of education. Yeah, good. The same with health, but I'm not sure. I do not believe that the investments have declined from the CDC days. No, I think there's a bit of increase. It may not have been to that level that you may have wanted it to go by now. So no, it is not true that they have stagnated. There's a little bit of addition. And the numbers are there to prove. So yeah, that's why it is. The president will speak, opposition will also come up. They will say what they want to say. That's what the democracy should actually be like. I think it could have been better. It could have been stronger. But, it is what it is. There are different people talking at the same time, different inputs and all of that. So you can understand. Now, if, the same way we can say the governing power now, they said this, they did this, and they said they would do this when they come to power, and they not do know we can critique them. Or when they want to compare certain things with the opposition, we say, but that's why you say you came to power for, you came to change. And we can say, yeah, we can hold them accountable for things they did and things they said, all right? So when you also say the government is rebranding your projects, some of which could be true, and making it to appear like it is their own, they don't want to acknowledge you. Then the places you have mistakes too, that they continuing with the same mistake, you should mention that we made these kind of mistakes for which bring to us on power, and you said you would do it better. You gotta mention why your mistakes are too. Because if you you can't just be saying the poor sitting on your glory, they're riding on your glory. You made mistakes too. So you must mention too. And the honest one from everybody. Yeah. So let's go to the lines. Let's hear from you. 777-700-995, 555-995. Yeah, you can just say, yeah, our projects, rebrand and repackage. Then your failures too, the ones that they correcting or that they are continuing, you won't acknowledge it. No, you gotta acknowledge it too. We gotta hold everybody honest now. 777-700-995, 555-995. The numbers to call. Let's take a few of your calls, and Forest Hour will be here. We'll be back at 5 o'clock. So that is that. The way we will judge CDC in terms of their speeches, it will be different from the way we judge other opposition people, because they were there. The same way when the party when in opposition, that's how we judge them too. Okay, so you see, we are always consistent. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Jimmy, and I'm calling you for radio. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your point of discussion right now. You see, our own president who voted for is very surprised about lie.
Who?
President Joseph Numa Boakai.
Did you vote for him?
I voted for him. I will not have evidence to prove to you that I voted for him.
Okay.
Even though everybody was allowed to carry phone in the polling area, but I made away with my phone and I get the evidence.
Okay.
But they forget to know that they took more than 70,000 youth from their household and lying to us today that they gave short-term and middle-term job to Liberians, which is false.
No, so Will, let us understand. Even though we are still awaiting the data, whenever a government says that it creates jobs, it does not mean they are employed with government or it is the government particular. But every job created in a country, every job is created by the government. That is the understanding.
Yeah, but here's the point. Because I don't have long time. I created my own job by buying my own motorcycle, which I even used to run campaign for the identical government, making me to go and register my motorbike, insure my motorbike. Running in broad day, but now you're using the identical street for even 2 weeks and parking my bike from the street. Today I have nothing to do. So I also get on record for that. So for me, I can protest. I can only wait for election time to protest.
Okay.
Thank you for the show.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius, how are you? How you doing?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
This is John J. Blackwest.
Let's hear you from my soup.
Yeah, thank you. You see, no more don't lie. And then the way you come to power with propaganda.
Now, why you jump over some of the numbers and because you don't want to lie?
No, not the issue that we're jumping over numbers. Because even our numbers will still prove when you go do your own research on the process. But let's go to the issue about job creation. Now, if you can remember, when the government came to power, the Unity Party-led government came to power, in less than a year, they were able to not even dance out, but dismiss over 10,000 Liberians from jobs, ranging from EPS, Ministry of States, CSA, and other places. Now you come back to tell the Liberian people, you were able to provide 70,000 jobs with all statistics. Now, let me say this. Nobody should tell us here that JMB made mistake. He never made any mistake because the fact that these people are still on their job, they are not being reprimanded of the deliberate lies of the Liberian people. That means the president also endorsed the lies, the road for him to reach the Liberian people. And this thing need to stop. You're not still campaigning. The government not still campaigning. You should be
but do you think there's this response speech of the CDC, is it strong enough to the SONA?
Julius, it is strong enough because the fact that we gave them recommendation on places that they have failed. It left with them to take the recommendation because we're still providing additional recommendation to them as well.
So why don't put it in the speech? Because y'all left the whole economic part.
Are they paying for it?
Oh.
Whoever the time we're in power for, are they paying for it? It should be consulted now that it should be paid for.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank
So
you.
kindly join you back by that. Let's see who's on this public line. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello? I'm not hearing you. Hello? I don't know what's happening. I'm not hearing that caller. Let's see who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Julius here. Great man.
Go ahead.
I'm Fasu. Yeah, on the issue that had to do with the 70,000 job creation. Yeah, I think
and a CDC response we're talking about, why are you holding on to? I want you to tell me your view of the CDC response. Let you 70,000 small. We don't talk about plenty.
The government, the public make it clear in his speech that the job of created across several sectors, both medium-term and short-term job of created. And the government is the arm. The government created an enabling environment.
And we're still waiting. It's just that we are. It's just that people are still waiting for the data. I think that the main reason why people are talking about it here.
Even across the world, getting data drug creation is a painstaking thing.
No, Chief.
It's a painstaking thing.
Chief.
It's not
Bossman.
It's not ordinary. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm listening.
How did they arrive at the total number if it was not from data?
Yeah, the government had an arm the government had an arm called the Ministry of Labor that deal with labor.
So why is it you not why is it you not telling labor say publish this data, because it is that data that they look at to know the total number and put it in the president's speech.
Yeah, but the data when it comes to employment or labor post, the labor ministry that provided the data.
Yeah, but are we saying now let the labor ministry publish the data now?
No, the labor ministry will do that. Do that.
When?
Labor ministry will do that. Will do that.
Okay.
People that work at labor ministry, they are highly professional.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius,
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Amara M. Fufana, Julius.
Go ahead, Amara.
I listened to some of your callers. I listened to former Superintendent back there, Julius. You know, Julius, it is often said that he who preach equity must come with clean hands. You know, people who die in the river of fallacy, falsehood, and misrule, to come to see a passionate patriot, a wise man, a venerated president in Joseph Numa Baka, trying to turn the Liberian story into a better one in line with international.
Can we focus on the CDC speech?
We are focusing. I'm laying.
No, because we got enough time. I'm right. You know we got enough time, and I want continue before you get to the real point. So go to the real point.
Yeah, now, you know, I don't want to say seditions in general, because you get some rational people who will only speak whenever is necessary in the CDC. Though they may not have number.
Amrao, what is the issue with the CDC's response?
The CDC response from the chairperson is a total illusion. It's out of anger based on their own negligence as a result of misrule that they lost power after quote-unquote spending 150 million on campaign, which of course we know they're not true. But now seeing President Baka in 2 years doing things that they didn't do in 6 years is actually piercing some of them.
Okay.
Now their anger is supposed to be directed at their leaders.
Thanks so kindly. Let's take this might be the last or second to last. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Dago D, how you doing?
I'm fine. Gabriel, you can go ahead.
This is Gabriel Nyekan. Sorry, I just want to remind you that you slept on your trademark inquiry in the terms of people using Sprint terminology.
Who used Strange one?
Falsehood and misrule.
No, I think he said misrule.
Oh no, because he was talking about falsehood. We were talking about lies. Again, faith in misrule. So I think he said misrule. So I was kind of concerned. I tried to.
No, leave that one. The man talking about misrule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, the reason why I called, sorry, I didn't do anything substantive here.
Okay.
We talk later on a substantive question.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius.
Yeah?
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Julius, this is Elton David, and I phone in from District 15 to be precise, correct. Julius, there was I just want to, before coming to that issue, but there was a strange thing that just took place in the district today.
Where?
In Corway.
Okay.
A guy got killed by a truck from a water factory. Yes, they got Monday. I tried to flat it out because I went to do a research on it. And today, a friend decided to jump in the street to parade for him. While doing the parade, the police was doing selling. They came on the street and asked the people to leave the street because there was a call by the water factory owner that the children were coming to go and disturb their business place. The people were just parading, trying to generate money for their lost one. At the end of the day today, the police were shooting tear gas. The police were beating people. The police shoot tear gas on the children's campus. And the children's school today, everything, people that should leave campus, He left Campbell early. Then my son will be in school up to 4 o'clock, but he left early. So I'm gonna call you.
Okay, yeah, we hope the authorities are listening to that. Thanks so kindly.
Yeah, but you know, I'm confused now, please. But you know, as it relates to the CDC issue, let me thank the CDC for coming up with their report on the government, because for the part of the matter, the Ministry of Information have come to a few and the government has come to a few. I think some of the recommendations the CDC is giving, let the government look at it seriously to see how best they can work within this thing. And CDC, they have said in the past, people were making them, and today it's making the government too. So they will not see it as a winning side for them. I think the government need to do everything in their way to make sure that the next sonar, there shouldn't be mistakes. You know, if I have a time, I will tell you a lot of error in that sonar. For in the horse, all the way outside, there were a lot of error and things from the president.
You say why from in the horse all the way outside?
Yes, there were a lot of error. For in the horse, you know. You know something? Do you know that when the national anthem blow, no other voice is over here but the president, then somebody, then the president, then somebody say, as you tell them to stay or they must sit down. No, when the national anthem is blow, I think the whole country is listening to the president.
Yeah, sure.
The president to say, oh yeah, give my heart. Oh, this thing, enter into the solar. I think that's going to be there.
Thanks so kindly. Thanks so kindly for your call. Forest Hour is up next. Let's take them now. I'll be back at 5 o'clock with the CBL team. This is the OK Conversation on OK.